Okay, quick video for myself, Harvey Goldman. No cuts, no edits, no filters, and no hair. So for today's video, I want to jump into a quick one about why the UK is rapidly becoming a nanny state. So what do I mean by this? Well, I'm sure you've all seen the news recently. More rules, more bans, more restrictions. Britain is turning into a full-blown nanny state. If you stick around, I'm going to show you what's driving it. I'll show you why it's quietly taking control of your life. Britain's growing web of government regulations and interventions is starting to impact personal choice. It's starting to impact public spaces. It's impacting your wallet, and also it's impacting your freedom of speech, sadly. It's all in the name of protection. It's for our own safety, don't you know? By the end of this video, you'll understand why more people are feeling controlled, not cared for, and whether the nanny state is really going to help us, or if it's just tightening the grip for some Orwellian nightmare to come along in a few years' time. Get your tinfoil hats out. So let's get into it. So for a start, we've got the rise of restrictions. There are bans on smoking in outdoor spaces. Now, I'm not a smoker. I don't particularly care for it. But hey, if you smoke, as long as it's, not next to me, I don't really care. We've got sugar taxes. We've got food advertising crackdowns, stricter recycling laws. And if you flout those, you'll find that your bins don't get emptied at all, despite paying record levels of council tax. You've got self-controls, and this is scary, where they nudge behaviour through pricing. Or through urban design. So you've got things like low traffic neighbourhoods or completely pedestrianised neighbourhoods. And there are obviously public health campaigns that all do this. And this is a way of soft controlling people. You've got data surveillance, and there is growing use of facial recognition. We've seen this in Wales, we've seen it in Oxford, and we've seen it in London. We've got cashless zones and digital tracking, everything from loyalty cards right through to ATMs. Every time you dab your card, it's a fingerprint on how you live your life, where you've been, and basically what you do in society. So all of this obviously fuels public frustration, and I think quite rightly so. People feel overmanaged rather than being empowered. I don't feel any safer. I feel like my life is being corralled. Is this actually improving the lives of any people, or is it really just a way of limiting our freedoms? Is it a litmus test for something else that's coming, something else that's round the corner? Cue Katie Hopkins and 15-minute cities. Have a watch of that video if you want your mind blown. There is obviously government overreach here, and I feel that it's a case of government overreach versus the interests of public safety, and they're using one to justify the other. So when does protection become control? When do we have a say? When can I tick a box and say, hell no to all of this? Are these laws addressing any of the root causes that are tarnishing our society, or are they really just the symptoms of it? And I have noticed this also happening in other places across Europe. It's not just the UK. Portugal, Spain, Germany, they've all got their problems. There are obviously financial penalties attached to some of this as well. So you'll have noticed that steep fines for small infractions like littering, like low emission zone violations, are mental. There's a guy, he's kind of like an auditor. He's called Charlie Veitch or Charlie Vetch. I think predominantly he goes around Manchester in the north of England, just basically filming life. He's kind of polarizing. I think he upsets people, perhaps a little bit, but hey, it's real life, isn't it? And he has actually recorded people in Manchester. They've got litter police that fine people the second a cigarette butt hits the floor. Even if they pick it up afterwards, they get effectively like a pedestrian parking ticket. Now, I'm not saying that people should be allowed to litter. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying that, are we really in a position in society where we need traffic wardens to monitor people littering? Surely there's a more effective and less obtrusive way that that can be dealt with. Surely that money can be better spent on education, on additional bins perhaps, and signage and things like that, rather than just, effectively taxing people again. Seems ridiculous. I'm sure opinion will be divided on that one as well, though. But the point is that all of these low emission zone violations, all of the littering, all of these little fines, all of these justifications that strangle our liberties and our freedoms, they hit working, poor people the hardest. They hit me, they hit you, they hit Joe Public. And the trade-off here is really, are we really any safer? Do you feel safe right now? Or do you just feel like you're being made to be compliant? Now, I know from my own point of view, I think that this has definitely gone a bridge too far. I think that there are so many different rules and policies and restrictions being enforced that it just makes the UK undesirable. It's almost like we've got no freedom of movement, we've got no freedom of speech, and soon it'll be a case where you won't have the freedom of thought. I mean, how long is it before something like Neuralink becomes the norm? 10 years, 20 years, 30 years? Mass adoption of such things will give people advantage when it comes to working, when it comes to maybe things like, figuring out the stock market for financial gains, stuff like that. So then everybody has to have it in order to keep up. Otherwise you get left behind. And at that point, they might be able to control thought. I mean, that's a horrible prospect. And like I said, get your tinfoil hats out. It does sound like an Orwellian nightmare. It sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie. But hey, that's literally the society that we live in. That's literally the way that technology is going. We are gradually being bonded to AI, bonded to technology, if anything else with our mobile devices, but soon with things like neural implants. Yeah, what are your thoughts on this? Do I need a tinfoil hat and a therapist? Or am I justified in thinking that our liberties are being eroded and it's all under the premise of being for my own good? Drop it in the comments. Let me know. Really keen to find out what the thoughts on this are. And also what you would do to fix it. Have you noticed that your liberties are being taken away? Have you noticed that your towns and your local areas are sort of inundated with, these controlling wardens that seem to be micromanaging your activity as you traverse through the area that you live? Let me know. So YouTube's going to put another video there. I'm going to go and find a couch to lie on. Like, follow, subscribe. Yeah, and there you go. Goldman. Peace out.